Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show here in Phoenix, Arizona. We're here to see Mikaela Davis and Southern Star and get a chance to meet up with her drummer, Alex Cote. Welcome back to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
You know, sonically, do you feel like this band can still get louder? You know, you don't want to, dynamically, you guys have a lot of dynamics. But I was talking to D-Man the other night. He went to your show in Fresno, and you guys are a rock band.
That's
You're
for
country,
sure.
you know, and so how loud is good enough?
I feel like if we're in the right room, we get to like the point where we don't want to go any louder. But it all depends on the room that we're in. You know, sometimes if it's a drier sounding stage, we can be really loud and it doesn't sound bad. And then other nights we have to play super duper quiet and everything feeds back and it feels like way louder than normal. It's just like the space that you're in really makes a big difference.
You would say that like there are some venues that don't want people dancing.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't noticed that as much anymore.
But when you say you have to be that quiet, and then
Yeah,
you know,
it is nice to be able to like really turn the bass up and like be able to hit the drums instead of have to like kind of tip on them. But I also like playing quiet too. There's something like really fun about existing in that like quieter dynamic as a band. I feel like it's easier to sort of sense what's going on around you. But we do get, I mean, you'll hear it tonight.
Totally.
We get
No,
there.
no. I mean, I wonder if you can talk about what you admire about how Mikaela handles just sort of the pressure of being like her own product, as opposed to, you know, she probably could have sold out commercially and been a very wealthy, you know, star, right? And still really badass. But
Yeah.
like, I'm sure there's a lot of cats like that. But I just wonder if that's a thing that's always been sort of a respect thing, or it's just because that's always what she's about. So it's all
Yeah,
natural.
I think she's always been about like, you know, having it be kind of organic and be her. There was probably a point in time when we first started touring where our agency and other people were sort of expecting her to like become this pop star, and she was like, no, I want to play music with my friends instead, and this is what we're into. And she held fast pretty, you know, strongly to that, which I appreciate, and the music's always been good because of it. And yeah, I don't know.
For her, and I want you to explain this to the audience, because I think there's a very fine line between like being a pop star means that the leader loses total creative control.
Yeah, I guess they're
putting the people into play with her, or the producer.
There were maybe some moments where the business people were sort of telling her like, you got to do this, you got to do that, and she was just like, I'm learning the ropes here, so let me try it. And then it kind of left a bad taste in her mouth, or she's just like, I like making music with my friends more than I like working with these strangers who seem to like know what to do. But
And we'll like conform her into what their vision of pop,
right.
you know?
Instead of just like a group of people who trust each other and like listen to the same music, and like some of us grew up together with like, you know,
I know. You
years
guys are
together.
like family, really. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a beautiful. No, so you've sort of taken on additional responsibilities because of your hulking imposition. Like you can make sure you guys get paid for the gig.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. Like, what's really bothersome, and not just you guys, but even bands that are on the circuit, touring circuit, whatever that is today, they're not making money at the gigs. They're making money on the merch table.
Yeah.
Which in the past, gigs paid well.
Yeah, well, some gigs still pay well, but
That's good.
These kinds of gigs, it's hard until you've like come back to the same place a bunch of times. And you know, I don't remember the last time we played in Arizona as a full band.
It's great that they have all that road
long
construction too. It's like freaking impossible
I know
to
we
get
got
in
here and
dude.
we're like, I hope that people can figure out how to find the parking lot. It's not super easy.
I got lost. It was not. How do you stay sharp? What other gigs you got going on up in upstate?
Yeah, I mean, back home I've been playing a lot of jazz, playing a lot of like swing dance music, which has been fun.
What is it, like 20, 30s and ballroom stuff?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it kind of takes on a new life, like the variety of time periods that we draw from. But like, it's fun playing in those groups because it is just for dancers. So you get to look out and see people really like who came to the show to dance. And like
Right,
the,
that's
the
what I
band
love,
is
man.
important, but it's all about the dancing, you know. So the band kind of like the responsibility of the band members is to just like keep it swinging the whole time, so people want to.
Is he playing with the string bass or electric bass?
Yeah, string bass. So it's like trad jazz, you know.
Trad, yeah.
So piano, female vocalists most of the time, 2 horns, string bass, drums.
Yeah, I just met these 2 Brazilian brothers. Their dad was a huge pop star, although he actually had a lot of creative control, comedian guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they recently, I mean, they're very organic in how they approach things. They're kind of a duo singer group. They're classic, Johnny and Don Franco. And they got pretty deep into like Kid Ory and Buddy Bolden. And my New Orleans is like Johnny Vidakovich with the Mardi Gras Indians, the Meters, sloppy funk.
Later. Yeah.
Right. You know, but like
other stuff is like the beginning of
But
jazz.
that's what they loved about it. They got hip to it, right? They're just sort of following the muse.
Mm-hmm.
And what they loved was the earnestness of the presentation.
Yeah.
Of the way the music is played with the heart.
Well, one of my favorite things about that time period of music in New Orleans is it was some of the first music to be recorded too. Like jazz may have existed a few years before like recording technology came about, and like Buddy Bolton or like
never got recorded.
Never got recorded.
Miles was obsessed with him. Miles
jazz
obsessed with
musician,
him.
And there's but
right.
But that music at that time is so interesting because the bands were sort of learning, like it was all a learning process of how to like record your music with whatever technology they had back then. Like there's stories of Louis Armstrong like having to stand like way further away from the horn than everybody else because his sound was just so powerful that it just like took over the whole band, and they're like, you got to stand back there. But yeah,
when you play that music, it's from the heart. I mean, you know that you want to keep it swinging so it can't get stiff, so you really have to put your soul into it.
Yeah, and there's just such a deep American like history within it too. Like it is truly an American art form, and there's just like so much soul inside that music. And there's obviously a lot of people that are playing it like half-assed too, but it's nice when you get together with a band that like really studied it and like knows where they're coming from.
Just before I let you go, on the new album, Mikaela's new album, did you road test a lot of those songs before you went in the studio? The only reason I ask is just because I wonder if you could point to a tune that when it was first birthed, it's taken on a life of its own since then.
Yeah, a lot of the album we had been playing just because it took us a while to get back in the studio to record the song. So we had played those on the road for a while and sort of gotten the arrangements together. I feel like since we've recorded them, though, a lot has changed about the band's dynamic. I mean,
in what way?
Just like we stretch out a lot more than we used to. It used to be a little bit more tightly knit, and I think since we got back together, like after 2020 happened and we all sort of took a break, we decided like we want to just improvise more, and we did that Relics session, and it was just like, woo, okay, wow, we're back in it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, everything's kind of stretched out a little bit more than it was before when we recorded it.
Well, just I'm gonna be hollering and fired up. So I think the dynamics are gonna be different tonight than any other gig. I think we're gonna raise the roof here, man. So,
yeah.
Mr. Cote, it's always good to see you, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Let's light the place on fire.
Let's do it, baby. It's the Jake Feinberg Show. See you later.